Hello YouTube guys, gals. This is the Pipe Pastor, and I'm making a video up here in the mountains up above Tamarack Ridge where we've had our camps for the last couple of weeks, and the boys are now, they've taken the boys out climbing, so they're rappelling and climbing mountains and facing their fears. And so I thought I'd take a moment and have a pipe, since we don't smoke our pipes around the boys. Thought I'd take a moment and have a pipe and say hello to you guys since my last video. My son Ben took. And nice day today. Camps have been good, but the nights have been cold, and the challenge has been that we haven't been allowed to have any fires up here because there's so many forest fires around the area. There's a no open fire rule going into effect, so when it drops down to 30 degrees at night and it's cold in the morning, and a lot of times we do some things at night, boy, it's cold. And it's been tough, but it hasn't gotten in the way. Except that my new artificial knee has been giving me fits. That's for sure. His son Ben is over there right now rustling up grub for tonight, cooking some beans, and he's going to make some fajitas. The guys always eat good at these camps. I'm eating my thing I've been eating for now a year and a half now, and that's I'll be having chicken and spinach and broccoli, and let's see, for tonight I'll add some brown rice. But it's been good up here. Very rewarding. I've had some really good times. We've seen some real deep healing in men that were hurting bad, man. I mean, they were hurting really bad. And I praise the Lord for that. And now we're going to work on some boys. Some boys who for the very first time, you know, are being called up out of boyhood. 7th graders, 8th graders. And they're shell-shocked. But by the end of the camp, they'll be spilling their guts and getting healed of some of the things that have hurt them as well. And some of them are pretty bad shape. So, yep, we're up here. It's quiet as all get out. Miss my wife. Miss my grandboys, my granddaughter. Don't know what it is about having grandchildren. I get all jacked up talking about them, and I hate that because I've always judged, you know, the cheesy grandparents that they talk to you about their grandchildren. They can't ever stop, and they go on and on and on. And I swore I'd never be that. Then you hold your grandsons in your hand, and something comes all over you. You know, comes just washing over you. Maybe it's because, you know, in my life, I didn't really have a very good childhood. Some of you guys that have watched these videos with my son Nicholas on Bold O'Donoghue's site, you get kind of touched at the relationship that I have with my boys. But I know how you feel, because I wished I had that same relationship with my dad. My dad tried to beat my mother to death on many occasions in front of me when I was 4. He'd hold her down and try to burn her. She's a beautiful woman. He tried to burn her face with cigarettes and stuff like that. And so it's not like I don't know how you're feeling. And I just determined when I became a dad that I was going to be a better man than my dad was. I was fortunate enough to be adopted. later on, and I really appreciate him for being my adopted father. He had struggles of his own, but he was a good man, and I really love him, appreciate him. But he was pretty hard on me. But I'm grateful for it. It helped me be the man that I am today. And so anyway, I don't want to get preachy or weepy at you or anything like that. Just deep and contemplative up here, and the high mountains, the Sierra Mountains. The Tamarack Ridge is about 8,000 feet, I think. Down in Fresno, it's about 110. What was your life like growing up? Your relationship with your dad okay, or with your mom? Because we find out that the two deepest wounds up here to get healed of is the mother wound and the father wound. Wounds inflicted by your dad, either by outright abuse or just by abandonment or rejection or emotional unavailability. Mom's kind of hurt us in different ways at times, although there's that not so normal incident where mothers are inflicting violence and abuse and stuff on their children. Most of the time mothers wound their kids by loving them too much, caring for them too much, and as a result, after a while it's perceived as control. And then we deal with all kinds of other wounds. Wounds from women, wounds from authority figures, wounds from peers, wounds by punching yourself in the nuts, just being your own self-saboteur, and wounds from circumstances beyond your control. And some of those come from Iraqi war veterans and that kind of thing that have suffered PTSD. And we see them get touched in real ways as well. But yeah, the problem with men is a hurting man is an angry man. Most of the time we prefer anger over any other emotion. And that anger comes out in different ways. It can produce anxiety and fear, so we never take risks because we're so afraid of failure. Or it can come out in hostility, or being introverted, not being able to give our heart away, not being able to experience or give intimacy. Many ways that it can manifest itself, but the old proverb is that hurting people hurt people, hurt people hurt people. So years ago I wanted to start weighing in on what I could do in terms of domestic violence, in terms of emotional emasculation, and just a whole thing that goes into men feeling ashamed for being men, or feeling ashamed, period. Began with our success with boys, and then men wanted some of that, and so we began doing groups for men, camps for men a couple of years ago, and great success there as well. So now I'm up here two weeks out of the year, and we still have to turn men and boys away, so I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if I could do. I'm getting too old for this, getting up there, man. Hate to admit it, but I feel it. Tonight we have a transactional exercise with the boys called Cross the Line. That's a way for a young man, and we do this with the men as well, to be able to disclose personal things about themselves non-verbally. So I ask a series of questions that start off light and get heavy. And if any question pertains to you, then you step over a rope line in a circle. And as soon as I ask a question that doesn't pertain to you, you cross back over the line again. And tough thing is that I'll ask a series of 10, 15 questions about really hard things that can happen to you, and some guys just stay across the line for every question. So talk about getting jacked up. And women can do a lot by way of comforting a man, but it seems like there's something only men can do for a man. You know, there's only a man, it seems, can take shame off of another man. And that Philadelphia love, that love for men, that healthy love for men. And we see it. We've been seeing it now constantly for over a decade. So it's very rewarding, but it's very exhausting. It takes months to prepare for, and adds to my already insane schedule at times. You know, one of you guys, his name is Aaron Thompson, got a hold of me on YouTube, and we struck up a conversation through Skype and so forth, and he bought a plane ticket from Illinois, about $550, came all the way down here. He's been here the whole 2 weeks, scouting us out, looking at what's happening, receiving some healing himself, and he's been a great help and been a fun time. So no matter where you are, if you can afford the plane ticket down here, we'll find a way of making it affordable for you. Sometimes I'll even pay for you. But something every man should experience, and every man needs, because every man is wounded in some degree or another, I think. Not that women aren't. I'm just, my specialty is gender specific. I spent 5 years in my counseling practice just helping women, mostly, who suffer from intense sexual abuse and what in those days they called multiple personality disorder. Now they call it dissociative identity disorder. But men are easier than women to get healed, let me tell you. It's not women's fault, and it's not because we're better. Ooh, man, Ben just added the onions and the garlic to the beans. Ooh. I'm thinking about doing a series of videos for the pipe community on theology, or just kind of working out applicational or experiential theology. I got so many good reviews on the 3 videos I did on a Christian man and his liberties, and I'm discovering that there is quite a number of Christian pipe smokers out there, a lot of Christian pastors out there that would just love to engage and just talk about, not argue theology, but affirm each other and strengthen each other in our theology, and I think that would be a lot of fun. Since I usually don't sleep past 2 o'clock anyway, due to some pain issues. I have bad shoulders and bad knees, but I'm recovering from knee surgery, total knee replacement that I had in May, and it kind of got complicated. So it's taken me a long end to getting over the pain, and I don't want to take any pain medication. But up here in the cold, I have to take a Percocet to get to sleep. But usually I'll wake up around 2 and hurting too bad to go back to sleep. So I'm up for the night, up for the morning. So that'd probably be a good time to make some videos, I think, maybe. If you're a gal, you come on my site and you've heard me speaking about man issues. Sorry about that if it was a little bit edgy, vulgar, or one-sided. It's because I'm just speaking. I assume I'm speaking to guys, and it's just because I haven't had a lot of exposure to women pipe smokers. So when I think of pipe smokers, I think of men. I don't think of women, and so it's always a wonderful surprise when a woman pipe smoker comes on the site, and it's just grand. It's glorious, but unfortunately, I tend to be gender specific on here, and I don't mean to slight you, but at the same time, please weigh in. I'd love to hear your insights. Hear what you're doing, what you're smoking. I'm smoking my big O Tinsky Billiard. Rusticated, of course. Nice yellow, pearlized stem. Huge pipe. I'd probably smoke this an hour and a half. Which got a brother. He made 2 of them for me that year. He makes two pipes a year for me. In December, I have him make 2 pipes in the same consignment. He made this one with a brother that, believe it or not, was bigger. And it was like, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, and I wanted to get as much smoking time in as I possibly could in a pipe. So I had to make these huge pipes, and this other one is bigger, but the problem is I'm a clencher. I like to clench my pipes in my teeth like that. And this one I can barely do it without hurting. The other one, forget it. I think Bold O'Donoghue sold it because I gave it to him. It's the same rustication, but it has this black. It had a nice one of those root beer. Tinsky calls them amber stems. Real nice pipe, man, but just too big to smoke. And that rascal Nick is soling it now. So, December I had my first grandson, and his name is Judah. Judah Benjamin Peter Bertolero. And just the delight for my soul. Beautiful, happy angel of a child. And then in July of this year, Nick and Alicia, Bold O'Donoghue, gave me another grandson, and his name is Cully. And he's in the sleeping stage right now, so I haven't really seen his personality yet, but just holding him. After holding the baby that died a couple years ago, I held that child in my arms for about 2 hours, I think. Just wishing and hoping, dealing with our grief and disappointment. But then in both cases, in Ben's case and in Nick's case, they had a miscarriage. God was gracious to us and heard our prayers and gave us children right afterward. And it's just I'm tripping, man. I mean, you just trip, holding your grandsons and looking into their eyes, and you came from me, and this is a lineage thing and a legacy thing, and I don't know, man. I don't know why I do it, but I just trip. I just trip out. Do you do that? I mean, is that normal? I don't know if this is normal or not. It feels cheesy, but yeah, just tripping out. My granddaughter, we adopted her years ago. Megan is the apple of my eye, and that's another trip because now she's 12, but she's got this body of a 18-year-old. Just a nice little butt. Her breasts are formed, and so she's got that look that 18-year-old guys might find attractive, and so I'm freaking out. Her dad's freaking out. So it's a different kind of trip in there. I went through this with Shekinah, my daughter. And by hearing what little I've told you, Sure, I got issues. I mean, it's no wonder I'm not an axe murderer or something, but I don't know. When it comes to people I love and feeling protective of them, I can get freaky. I can get poor girls, poor guys. Anyway, I'm rambling. Those of you that have been on my site for a while know that a couple of years ago I was pretty obese. I got up around almost 390, about 385. And I'd been a weightlifter in the gym, all my life. So I've worked out all the time, but just got hard fat, it seems like. So my knees had gotten so bad from football that I decided to get knee replacement surgery is what I needed. I needed that for years, but I decided to get that. So a couple years ago, I decided to lose the weight first because they don't like to give a knee replacement surgery to someone that's big and fat. So I don't know. I just got up one morning in January and said, that's it. I'm going to do this. I contacted a couple of professional bodybuilders, talked with some health experts, understood that I needed to get my calorie count each day down to about 2,000 calories and high protein, low fat, low sugar, low carbs. And so I locked in what I could eat and what I can't, because I'm one of those guys, you can't prepare food. I can't prepare food. If I prepare food, I so don't want to do it that I wait too long, get too hungry, then you know what happens. So locked it in, and about the ending of last year, beginning of this year, I logged in about 120 pounds I lost another 40, got 50 more to go. The 50's hard. This last 50 is hard because I can't do a lot of cardio. I can't do a lot of spiking cardios. So I have to run the pool or I have to pedal the bike, and that's been slow going. So I mixed up my weight training regimen, to where I don't rest in between. The only rest is changing weights or changing the machines or whatever I'm doing. But just try to keep my heart rate going by lifting that way. And I don't know, for the life of me, I don't know why I did this, but I got two young bucks now working out with me, Garrett and Jamal. And these are two young men that, I mean, they get tired, but then they're ready to go in about a couple hours, and I got a day's rest, and I have to try to keep ahead of these guys for narcissistic purposes. I can't let them beat me. And so they're keeping me going, they're helping me stay on track, and so that's good. You can go farther and do more with partners than you can without them, that's for sure. So that's about it for me. I got, let's see, today's Tuesday, and I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I'll be going home Friday. Going home to 100 some odd degrees. Been away from my woman now for 2 weeks, so poor thing better be ready, because I don't think she'll know what hit her. But you guys have a good time and keep on enjoying your pipes, and I'll be hanging around some more come later. Looking forward to your comments. Take care. God bless you.